Hey there, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Talking to Myself, the part of the day where I talk to myself about things that I was thinking the night before while laying in bed. Shout out, of course, to Saratoga Peanut Butter, to all 715 of you who are subscribed to me, Little Sam Canu Company, the Kings of Leon, who are back on tour, the LA Dodgers, Detroit Lions, Los Angeles Lakers offseason. This isn't the Detroit Lions cap, I just remembered that. And, of course, to the homies, Young Ansel, Dorian Coleman. There's so many others that I could talk to about right now. Anthony, frame.count. Pretty nice. Also, shout out to me for being able to come away with the damn steal today on eBay. An XT-3 with a cage with an 18 to 55 2.8 to f4 with an XC35 f2 with 4 batteries, one of them being OEM, the other ones being 2 aftermarket, and 1 dummy battery for constant power, as well as a nice SD card, M42 adapter, all that for $640 because I was able to gut it out at 3, 4, 5 o'clock this morning on eBay. So really big deal for me. Fantastic job. I've got my secondary camera. I'll be able to pair that up with maybe a Blackmagic video assist and a cage with the amount of money that I saved, and have the video shooting rig that I wanted for the stuff that's coming up as far as documentary work, as well as some things that I have coming up for real estate work and things like that, as far as walkthroughs and pass-throughs on people's homes. So yeah, other shout out to MLB players, because they're calling out Rob Manfred and how big of a bullshit artist he is. For those of you guys that are baseball fans, I'm just going to say this right now. Bud Selig did not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Bud Selig is not a Hall of Fame. Bud Selig is a sellout. He knew that players were using steroids. He was okay with it. They encouraged it. They loved that Powerball hitting era. They loved the juice ball era, until the government got in, because they realized that a lot of these players were getting these steroids illegally and human growth hormone illegally. At that point, he paired with the American government in order to crack down, in order to allow them to subpoena their players, even though they're in a private league and you have to get, it's a big thing. But Selig knew that steroids were being used and was okay with it until the public eye, and he wanted to, become a pansy boy for the unwritten rules of baseball, which is bullshit, because the unwritten rules of baseball were created whenever blacks and Hispanics were widely not allowed in the league. And let's just be 100% honest about it. Babe Ruth, the Murderers Row, all those guys, they're not that good. Ty Cobb would not have been that good right now because he didn't have guys throwing like this. He had dudes that were packing meats in a meat district and were drunk on the mound throwing a ball to him. Like, let's stop pretending like these guys are on a Hall of Fame. Babe Ruth is nowhere near a top 10 player of all time. But also, the same thing's happening right now to Rob Manfred. Not only did he give a hand clap and a pat in the back to the 2017 cheaters, the Houston Astros, but also he's known that these pitchers have been using this substance because for years people have bringing it up. Spider tack and rubber cement, more than just sunscreen and rosin, and he was okay with it. Why? Because it was doing good for strikeout rates and things like that, and he was able to push, the MLB brand with that. But once he starts getting caught up, because Trevor Bauer and all these other players are starting to come out with their own YouTube channels and their own videos about it and discuss it, now he has to back off and he has to act like he wanted the right thing. So again, Rob Manfred should not be voted into the Hall of Fame, but that's what you get whenever the MLB Writers Association, a majority old white men who want to act like the unwritten rules are being protected by people like Selig and Manfred, just because they put on a smile and because they tell people they don't like them taunting around base. Hashtag put Barry Bonds in the Hall of Fame. Anyway, so today's video is going to be pretty simple. Just want to talk about a few things besides my come up. Fujifilm had a cyber attack, but they were able to survive it. They were ransomware and ended up not having to pay anything, kept all their data, and were able to get the guys caught. So shout out to them. Good luck on anyone else that happens to, but ransomware is real, and that's pretty crazy. So Fujifilm was able to not get completely violated and destroyed by some ransomware, so they're still up and standing. The other thing is, whenever it comes to the XH2, there are rumors now that it'll be XH2 in 2022 and that there will be a second camera in 2022 Q4. Some people are thinking of the XT-5, and this again is my thing with the XH and the XT line. The XH has to be a sports camera, and I keep saying this, people are like, no, you got to make it videography, you got to make it hybrid. Every camera that can shoot video and photo is a hybrid camera. Let's stop pretending like it has to be top spec everything. Like the A7S III is not, it's a hybrid camera. Just because it focuses on video doesn't mean shit. But listen, the XH2 has to be a sports camera. It has to be a sports camera. Reason being because the XT-5 is going to come out, and Fujifilm is not going to dumb that down to protect the XH2. So yeah, the XH2 is going to have some nice video capabilities and things like that. But if it does not have that high frame rate, if it does not have great autofocus for you know, sports and things. If it does not have limited wobble, is what I call it, limited shake, wobble, and image degradation, in electronic shutter mode, I'm just telling you right now, you're gonna screw up the XH2 just like you did the XH1. Because if the XT-5 comes out and it's balls to the wall and it has literally the similar or better specs than the XH2, why would you make the XH2? Why? Someone please tell me. So is it for the grip? Because listen, people can just buy a grip for the XT line. Fujifilm, you gotta think damn smart, dude. The XH2 has to be a sports camera. So that's just some things on that. And you know what? With the everything that's coming out, I'm just putting this out there. If the XH2 is not a sports camera, Fujifilm, you're shooting yourself in the foot for whenever it comes to Olympics and things like that. Fujifilm, you are in the bag if the XH2 is not marketed as more of a sports camera versus a video camera, because you know you're going to shoot yourself in the foot with that XT5, and people already know the way you ran with the XH1 and the XT3, and they're going to wait for that XT5. Trust me on that. The second thing is Fujifilm. You have to release AF pancake lenses, period, soon. I get it, you're redoing all your lenses, but I'm just telling you right now, a lot of people aren't going to buy the second generation of lens if they have the first generation of lens, unless they're impulsive buyers. You're not going to sell that much. Pancake lenses that you guys don't have out on the market, you have every person who has a Fujifilm X system camera is now in the market for those pancake lenses. Why? Because they don't have the pancake lenses. You create a full market of people who aren't, well, you know, I have this pancake, maybe no. Release all the pancakes. Give us the pancakes, dude, and they will sell like pancakes. I'm telling you right now. That's just what's gonna happen. But that's not the point of this video. This video is actually gonna be something a little bit different. I showed what gear I used on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I showed what gear I used. I'm trying to make 3 videos a week right now, especially with everything going on. But 3 or 4 a week, you know, not 5, 6, 7, 8 a week and things like that. I'm trying to water it down that way I don't get tired of this. But so besides that, I thought, you know, I showed you what camera gear I use. I always use it. I didn't show you my iPad, but here it is right there. Nice iPad. There's my baby mama right there. I showed you all the gear that I use anytime I go to a shoot, and that's it. The gear that I had is the gear that I use, period. I don't bring anything extra. I don't have a NAR box. I don't use any of this stuff that's like, oh my gosh, you guys need this SD card. No, you don't. Listen, I'm just telling you right now, I've never run out of space in anything. But then again, I don't spray and pray. So not that there's anything wrong with spraying and praying, but I'm very intentional about the way that I set up shots. And then for candid shots, I'm very intentional about, you know, basically what I'm shooting and who I'm shooting. I'm making sure that if someone looks uncomfortable, I'm not wasting shots on someone who looks uncomfortable, who's staring at the camera like this. You know, you got to be smart on that. But I'm going to show you the bags that I use, actually, the 4 bags that I use the most. What you won't see right here is a Wandered Provoke bag, D1 fanny pack. You won't see that because that's actually still my fiance's car. I use that bag anytime we're going out of town, anytime I'm walking the dog, anytime we're going in town, basically. Anytime I can carry my phone and a couple other things, dog poop bags, you know, cash, a knife, anything like that. Anytime I can carry that in my bag, that's what I do in that fanny pack. And so I bring that fanny pack a lot of times, especially if I'm wearing shorts and I don't want a whole bunch of things in my pocket. I wear that fanny pack. It's not even so much as a camera bag anymore, except for film cameras. It's just a great thing to have. So trust me, if you're like me, you would love that bag. The Wandered Provoke D1 fanny pack is a fantastic bag. But speaking of fanny-ish packs, this is actually a sling. This is the first bag I'm gonna talk about. This is my HEX Ranger Mini, and as you see, it's all black because I don't use digital camo or a multicam, black multicam. And those of you who know why I wouldn't use black multicam, you know why. So yeah, so this is the Ranger Sling Mini. As you see right here, it's got a nice thick strap. I use this for whenever I actually want to carry around my X Pro 3 with a lens, and I just want it to be something, you know, light and quick, something I could pop out, and I have to carry other things. So if I'm going for a day, you know, around San Antonio, I want to bring my camera. Or if I'm in New Braunfels, if I'm in San Marcos or something like that, and I want to bring my camera, if I'm in Brownsville or in, you know, places like that. I even bring this whenever I'm out in New Mexico and I just want to have one camera, 2 lenses with me. That's all I do. So, or So this right here will hold the X Pro 3 and the 18mm f2 and the 35 1.4 and still have a little bit of room in there. What I like about this is if you see right here, it's got these straps that pull this thing tight. So if I don't have a lot of stuff in here, it's not like it's moving around in the bag. I can pull it tight so the bag compresses on itself, so I never feel like I have more than I need to, and it does a nice job pulling it to me. It's got an opening right here, a second little pouch with all these little pockets in here, some mesh ones, some ones that aren't mesh. It's got a nice key clip. This is where I keep a house key on here. It removes, and then it's got a nice microfiber insert right here in the front in this pocket. This is what I put maybe if I'm carrying an indie filter or my phone or something. This is a great bag for just carrying around. I use this, like I said, I hold a camera in here. It'll hold my 35 1.4 and my X Pro 3 28 or 18 f2. It'll carry that with the 18 f2 on the X Pro 3. This is basically all you need. I just put this on here. I throw it around and about. Never use it as a fanny pack really. Hold it like this and it sits, it stays, you know, and it doesn't really do much else. If I need to move it back, I can move it like this, but it just stays right here on the chest. It's a great bag. I'd recommend this bag to a lot of people. If you just want one like cute everyday carry bag, I'd get this over either of any of the bags that I'm bringing, showing right now. If you just want a bag that you can run and gun with, just walk around with, you just want to take photos, whether it be on film or digital, you just want to move around a little bit. This will hold a DSLR too, I believe, without a grip. But if you just want to move around and just take some photos and have a camera with you just in case, whether or not you pull it out, you bring this with you or not, this is a great camera to do that with. I'd recommend this. Is the Ranger Sling, HEX Ranger Sling Mini bag right there. Excuse me for that hiccupish, burpish thing. The next bag is a smaller bag as well, kind of. It's not as small as that bag. I think that bag right there, that HEX Sling Mini, they say it's a 3.5 liter bag. Don't really know. But this one right here, I've made videos about this and the 10 liter version. This is the 5 liter Peak Design 5 liter everyday carry sling version 1. This is a great bag. I love this bag. This bag is the one that I use whenever I'm doing shoots and it's gonna be something quick, like a quick, you know, a home portrait. Where you're gonna go to people's homes and take photos. This is a quick, you know, if I'm gonna be traveling somewhere to see family, and it's a drive away or see friends, something like that, and I want to take all my lenses, you know, or if it's a graduation, an announcement shoot or something like that, and I just want to do something quick, and I know I'm not gonna have to bring a flash or anything. If I can use natural light, you know, if it's indoors and there's windows and stuff, and I don't need a flash, I'll use this. It's got nice 4 pockets up here, which is more than enough for me because I only have 3 batteries, because you don't need more than 3 batteries whenever you're shooting on these Fujifilm cameras. I know people say you need a lot, and like, they're like, oh, you got to have a grip because you got to swap out batteries. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I have never ran out of juice, or I have never in my life encountered a situation with any camera, other than my Olympus OMD EM10, where I ran out of battery, you know, quicker than I wanted to if I charged every battery up beforehand. And again, I don't spray and pray. I don't shoot. If I'm at a wedding and there's a ceremonies for 2 hours, I maybe have like 100 photos. You know, and I mean just ceremony. I know people that have 600 photos during the ceremony. Very intentional with the way I shoot, and I shoot in single shot. I don't really shoot in continuous. So it's got a nice back pouch right here. This can hold an iPad Mini 4. This can hold, you know, papers, things like that, whatever you want. It's got a nice little back pouch. It's supposed to be like a little portfolio thing to hold stuff. It's got some inside pouches right in here in the little corners. This is where I hold some indie filters and things. I've got it broken off so it can hold the 50mm 1.2 right there. I pop this down. I have the 18 f2, and then I have the X Pro 3 with a 35 1.4 on there. That's usually the way I do this and the way I rock it. It's got a nice little front pouch right here too. Pretty good room. There's not much up here, but down here it's got some okay depth. I've been able to hold like some cards or like a mini tripod and things like that in there. It's also got this little area right here where you can put a Peak Design capture clip. I've sometimes have had this on here if I'm traveling. I know this is my only bag. You know, trips to some quick places, Fredericksburg and things, Dallas, Houston. You know, this is usually the bag that I take if I'm not going in a place that prohibits bags. This is usually the one I'm going to take, just because it holds a lot of stuff in here. And again, I'm able to hold, you know, if I buy something it's small, like as a souvenir or something, I'm able to throw it in here too if I buy something that I like. Or I can also have this in here and it'll fit my Nikon Light Touch AF in here. And then up top I can also have extra roll of film whenever I have the rest of my digital stuff. So the Peak Design 5-liter sling, I recommend these to anyone and everyone. The reason being is because I've had this in the 10-liter for actually it's going on 4 years now, and they look exactly the same. They feel exactly the same. They work perfectly. The zippers are great. I've left these out in snow, rain, in dust storms in New Mexico, which if you live in New Mexico, right about this time, you're usually getting about 100-degree weather, and you're getting about anywhere from about 5 times out of the week, you're having anywhere from 40 to 60 degree or 60 mile per hour gusts or winds, and probably gusts around 80 miles an hour that are tearing down signs. And so you get a lot of dirt. This thing, nothing's ever been let in. My tripod has dirt inside of it in the legs and things like that. I've had this hanging on my tripod as support before. No dirt in this. It's a fantastic bag. I truly, truly do like these Peak Design bags. These are ones that I recommend. Now, this may not be one that I recommend over this for an everyday carry, because I feel like this is more useful for everyday carry, this HEX Ranger Mini Sling. But this right here, if you're someone who, you know, wants to carry a camera and maybe some other things, maybe a small little bottle, you know, like I know you can fit a water bottle in here. Maybe you want to fit an iPad mini. If this is going to be your only bag and you're just, you know, a regular camera, not a novice, but let's say an XT-5 with a 35 1.4 is your only camera gear, and you know, you just like to chill with that and you just want to have some room for some other stuff, this is the bag that I would get. So shout out to Peak Design for that one. I know I buy a lot of Peak Design stuff, or I have bought, but it's not because I'm a Peak Design fanboy, because I haven't bought any of the new stuff because the version 1 looks better to me anyway. But it's because I know the stuff lasts. I recommend the version 1 of every Peak Design bag period out there, because the functionality is pretty much the same. I think it looks better, and the fact that right now you can get it cheaper. Peak Design also has their own aftermarket used website right now, to where you can buy their used products and it's guaranteed by them from people that are actually selling them, and they make up their prices, so the prices vary. But yeah, you're able to buy from there too, and trust me, the version 1s will work. Like I said, this is the 10-liter sling. This is probably my most used out of the 2 Peak Design, or not my most used, but the hardest used out of my 2 Peak Design bags. These are still going strong about 4 years later. Reason why this one is the hardest used, it just takes, I put more into it. This thing it goes on airplanes with me. This thing is when I'm traveling, whether Hawaii, whether you know, this will go with me on my cruise, whether to Seattle, anywhere that I go. This is the bag that I take. This is the bag that I take when I'm working jobs, and it's something that's going to be very, very small, like I'm only taking a flash, etc., etc. This is basically for portrait shoots. This is usually my bag. What this will consist of is going to be, or just quick portrait shoots, like engagement shoots. There you go. For an engagement shoot or something like that, this is probably the bag I'm using. Even for a wedding, this is probably going to be the bag that I'm using. Reason being, it'll hold my 35 1.4 and my X Pro 3 right here. And again, that's the only camera I need, period. Now that I'm getting a second camera, will I use 2 cameras when I'm doing stuff? Sure, but 35 1.4, whenever I'm carrying it right there, it'll hold both of my other lenses, my 18 millimeter, which is a 28 millimeter effective focal length. Why I keep saying that, and my 50 millimeter 1.2 will hold in here. This right here will separate them. I'll also be able to hold my MCEX 16, which is my macro extension tube, my autofocus macro extension tube. Sorry for the burp. For my lenses, to be able to do some macro shots. Then right here in the middle, I'm able to have both of my flashes, so I can have 1 flash, 2 flash if I need to. Both of my TT600s from Godox. I can also, with this, I'm usually able to pop right here on top that mag mod, and so that white little mag mod sphere, that's the diffuser, I'm able to pop right on here. So all that fits right here, and then inside here I'm able to fit all of my batteries. I'm able to fit some extra cards, business cards to hand out, as well as in this pocket, because these pockets on the side are very, very large, I'm able to fit the trigger for those Godox systems, that X Pro F Godox system. And so I love this bag. In the back, I'm also always able to fit an iPad Pro with the case, and it's got the Apple Pencil. So you see right here, it's fantastic. This is a do-it-all bag. This is the bag. This one is the major go. It has a little magnetic Velcro whatever strap right there, so it'll hold down and it's able to fit everything in there. Also in the front, you have more pockets inside, so a giant large pocket that's got really good depth, as well as 2 pockets inside that'll help you separate things. I put a carabiner with an S-beaner. I put a little, or whatever this is, a carabiner with an S-beaner on front, because usually I have a bounce card hanging off here. It's got straps on the bottom for you to hold a tripod or something. Really does come in handy. Man, and you know what? This bag, it may seem simple, but this bag does everything, man. It holds everything. ND filters you can hold in here. I mean, this is the bag. When you want to do business, this is the bag to get. And again, 4 years, I've even left this one outside on accident in snow overnight, and you open it up and the inside's not wet. Now again, I know people are gonna say, well, it's because once you get the snow off, it's frozen. It's not like, you know, it's not gonna melt in the bag. It's just gonna sit on the bag because the bag's cold. I get that, but at the same time, I don't get that. So shut the hell up. So shout out to Peak Design again. You make great bags. Peak Design makes great bags. The version 1s are the ones that I will always recommend, period. The reason being is because save yourself some cash. You don't need that version 2. And to be honest, I don't recommend the Everyday Messenger, and I don't recommend the 20 liter or the 30 liter, whatever, everyday carry backpack. I just don't. Whenever I got those, I felt like they're too bulky. I felt like they had too much empty room. And if you didn't fill them up, sometimes if you took a little light jog, or if you moved real quick one way or the other, you could feel things move. I don't like that. These, everything fits in, and with those little dividers, you're able to really snug it down if you don't have it full all the way. So that's that. And the last bag is one that I'll recommend for if you just want one bag, period, to carry your camera in, and then you just want one backpack. You're not like me and you have a whole bunch of bags, because I've also got a low pro bag that I'll give away. It's a low pro sling. So if any of you are interested and you need a sling bag, it's not the prettiest bag, but it is a waterproof low pro bag for someone, maybe if you're going hiking and stuff like that, you want to carry one camera, a lens, and maybe a few other things. I've got a low pro sling that you can have. Just comment down below. Shout out to Jason S. Mayers, by the way, because I sent you your 120 black and white film for being one of the only people to listen to me in an earlier video on Tuesday. But yeah, and I've also got a Manfrotto bag. It's one for their, whenever mirrorless cameras were called CCS, compact camera systems. Just about 4 years ago, it was a CCS bag. It's a Manfrotto Street. It's a sling. It's actually a messenger bag, and that's what I use whenever I go out of town, like in a trip I'm taking to Mexico. I'll break down all the stuff that I have right here. I'll put it all into that bag, as well as with my muslin background, my crushed painted background, and go from there. But this right here is my Brevite, I don't know how to say it. It's got a moose on here, or a deer. This is my just camera bag. I think it's just a camera bag. I don't know what it's called. It's a simple one. It's a $99 one. But this one's a fantastic bag. It's got a nice little area right here for you to put everything. It's got a nice zippered pouch up here for you to put things like, you know, I've got my Think Tank bags are also ones that I love. I've owned a lot of bags, and Think Tank probably is my most useful. So it's got a nice little pouch right there. Up front, it's got good area. I can fit a lot of things. The reason why I like this one is this is like if I'm traveling somewhere, especially with family, like if I'm going to Seattle to see family, and I don't really care to carry that much stuff. Like if I'm gonna carry a camera, I'm only gonna bring one lens and wear a strap while I'm walking out and about or something, or just have it in my hand. This is the bag I'm gonna use, because it can hold a lot of things. It can hold like a poncho. It can hold an extra shirt because it rains all the time over there, or whatever. You know, if my lady gets wet. And it's got a whole bunch of compartments. So if I want to take things, like I want to take a Nintendo Switch, I can throw it up here. I can throw games right here. I just got a Nintendo Switch, by the way. It's a major go. You know, you can hold extra wrist straps. You know, like I said, if you just want to hold a camera. It's got these 4 mesh pockets in here, as well as a deep middle area for holding other things. It expands a little bit everywhere. So, you know, you're not going to be running out of room there. So I could carry, literally in this bag, there's so many things that I could do. You know, and then in here, you've got a lot of great storage. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 areas for me to carry stuff. This is a bag that I'm saying because it's so light that basically all you feel is the weight of things in there. If you're going somewhere and you have 4 lenses, like a 70-200 mirrorless camera, and you want to have your body with a lens on there and then 2 other small lenses, if you're going and you're working, or you just want one bag to do all your work stuff and then take these things out and then use it as a backpack whenever you're not working, if you're that kind of person, or if you just want one bag that can hold 3 to 4 lenses for you to do work and leisure stuff with, this is the bag to get, because it's very simplistic, minimalistic. It has great padding everywhere. It's really good looking. No one knows what it really is. It looks like it's just a regular ass backpack. It's got a nice little side zipper right here, that way you can get in there and grab your stuff. This is the bag to get if you're not too worried about the looks and things and about waterproofing and all these things. You just want a stylish bag, this is the one to get. It also has up top this nice YKK zipper for you to be able to put something in here, so I can fit an iPad. This is an iPad Pro, by the way. This is an iPad Air 4. I got that instead of the Pro because they actually work exactly the same. So, you know, it can fit that in there as well. It's got this nice little side zipper for you to put extra cash, something stowaway in there. And then my favorite thing is it goes on luggage. That's why this is the one when I'm flying. 9 times out of 10 I kind of want to take this because this will hold everything, as well as having this nice little strap. It's perfectly padded for what the bag is, and it's perfectly the right size for me to be able to fit my Peak Design capture clip on here. So this bag is not the one I use all the time. It's not the like my most tried and true bag, but if I'm talking about functionality and use, this is probably the best bag, period. This bag can do everything else does. This bag could replace any of these, even this HEX Mini Sling, because of how light it is. And if I just want to carry a few things, I can. And it's still a nice compact bag, and it looks good. It fits very well on you. It's very, very light even whenever you have it empty, but this is a fantastic bag for travel because I've got all these extra spots. If I only want to bring one camera and one lens, I've got all these extra spots to put things in here. So, okay, I want to put a shirt in here for whenever I'm traveling. I want to put, you know, like I said, a switch, or you know, something else, a battery charger. I've got all these compartments for all these different things that would be beneficial to me, period. As well as, you know, again, if you can carry a lot of camera gear in here, that's what this bag is so nice about. I've got a lot more bags you know, that I use, but whenever it comes to camera stuff, these are the main 4 that I'm using. So there's not really much else to say. There is one bag though that holds a special place in my heart that I sold about 3 years ago when I moved to this area, that I regret every single day just because it's the best bag I've ever used, and that is the Low Pro BW 250. And think of the backpacks like the BP 400 and the 300 and 200, things like that. The ones that have the MOLLE backing, they've got the hard shell. They made a small one for drones and for compact camera systems back in the day called the BP 250. Looks exactly the same as those. That is the best camera bag I've ever used. I miss it. You put it on its back and you're able to unzip it from the front and see everything in there. It had a compartment for getting up top. It had a hard shell. Again, best bag I've ever used. Sold it because I wanted to consolidate bags, and I didn't think I was burnt out, and I didn't want to do much camera stuff. And the only reason why I sold it and then kept the Peak Design bags is specifically for the reason was I knew I could use the Peak Design bags for work and other things. It didn't have to be a camera bag, but I regret it every single day. And it's hard to find one because I remember I bought it at $50 because Low Pro was getting rid of the brand, or the series of that, and just selling them like hotcakes. I bought it for $50, and now you can't get it for underneath $112, and so I don't want to make that jump. So, but yeah, those are the bags that I use. Those are the reason why I use them. I would recommend any of them for the specific situations. I recommend them more than anything though. I recommend, if you want a bag that you know is not going to last, and you're not the kind of person that has to have the newest thing, and you're not obsessed with like showing off the shit that you buy, like I'm not, go with the Peak Design bags, period, because they're better bang for your buck. I got, you know, one for $79, the other one for $99 whenever I bought them a few years ago, because I think I bought them after market. So someone owned them before me and they still look fantastic. You know, that's great. I think they're open box on eBay, but like still, they still look great. They're working great. Nothing's ever broken. The zipper is nada, and I use them all the time. The HEX Ranger Mini Sling is one that I recommend. If you just want one do it all carry around bag, it's like $59, $69. I think $49 because I got it on sale using a code. But that's just one bag to where, you know, it's just nice. It just looks nice, and for a lot of you guys, it'll pair well with some of your outfits. Me, not so much, because I wear the same thing and I don't dress that cool. But it'll fit nice, it'll work nice. And then if you just want one bag that does everything you need to do, it'll do everything all the other bags do, and then it does more because the way that it looks and the space that it has and the way you're able to take out those inserts and turn this to a real camera. I'd go with this Brevite. I'd go with this classic camera bag with these inserts and things like that. It's a great bag. It does everything you need to do. Again, I just like the look of it. I like how minimal it looks. I like the feeling of it. It's just a good backpack. It reminds me of a JanSport. So shout out to all you guys. Shout out to everyone who says fuck Rob Manfred until I die. So FRMTID. FRMTID, everyone. Shout out to John Boy Media. You guys really need to check him out because he's really opened it up. By the way, there is one last thing whenever it comes to baseball. Pete Alonso has a really interesting theory about what's happening in baseball. And if you care about sports, let me know, because I've started doing a deep dive in this. In the thought, I've done a deep dive into what he said and the whole thing regarding steroids and kind of excessive cheating and stuff like that. Because I think the MLB knows every time someone's cheating and they allow it because of the story. But Pete Alonso said that the MLB owners and commissioners and stuff like that, they purposely adjust balls depending on arbitration for players. And here's what we're talking about. This year they have a whole bunch of shortstops, they have a whole bunch of outfielders, third baseman, position players, DHs that are going to be in free agency and that are going to be hitting arbitration, which means they get to renegotiate before they negotiate, etc., etc. They need a whole bunch of bailouts. So they're going to be paying a lot of big money. There's a lot more no-hitters, there's a lot more strikeouts, the balls aren't traveling as far, etc., as they have in the past years. He thinks they juice balls because then he said, he had no evidence to back this up, but then he said, in 2019, whenever all the pitchers were going to be off or free agents in the 2020 off season, we had the most home runs ever in 2019. I started going back, and I've seen that trend for certain times, especially after the live ball, like the juice ball era with steroids. After that stuff with Barry Bonds come out, that next year there was quite an influx of perfect games and no hitters, and there was quite a drop in ERA as well as batter whip. And so anyway. It has some relevance and stuff like that, but I'm gonna do a deep dive. But I've been doing a deep dive more about how shitty the MLB is, and how they sell out their players, and how Bud Selig and Rob Manfred are probably two of the worst commissioners of all time, right up there with Roger Goodell. So that's it for me, guys. I'm done bitching. Hope you guys have a good one. Later.